You're watching the 8-player draft series at Magic Brewhouse Games. Hi everybody, you're watching the 8-player draft series draft review for Phil Drake. I'm Ludi Simone and I'm joined by Drew Bradshaw.
Hey Lou.
Due to scheduling conflicts, Phil was not able to join us, so we're going to take a look at his draft picks and go over that for all of you guys at home. So, he's got a lot of interesting cards. Pick one. Let's just go ahead and take a look at the first pick and see what was in his head here. Herald of Kozilek.
All right, so he's in the... He looks like he might be leaning towards the blue-red colorless archetype.
We would hope. I think Complete Disregard and Scour from Existence are some pretty good cards here. So,
did pass up some pretty good choices.
Clearly he values that more, and, we'll have to see how the next one plays out. So let's take a look at pick two. What's going on with pick two here, I want to point out real quick, in the upper leftmost corner is the what we call the pick evolution. You guys are going to get to see all of the previous picks as we go from one to the next one in the upper leftmost corner, just so you can see how they evolve relative to the rest of the cards being passed. So, Drew, what do you think about pick two?
Well, he doesn't have a lot to choose from in this that really fits in with what he's trying to do, but he's got some stuff in the low end of the curve that he might possibly take, maybe the salvage drone.
Or the nettle drone. Yep, let's see. Goes with the spiked tongue of the nettle drone. I mean, that card ends up being pretty good. 3 power, in a format that's pretty slow.
And if he's going with the colorless theme, then he can get a lot of work out of that card.
Absolutely. So pick 3. Let's see where he went with this one. Windrider Patrol? Sure. Probably took this one because it's uncommon. Not likely to see it get passed around again. It's on his colors, but kind of off the colorless theme here.
Right. He was probably thinking, it's a pretty good flying threat, so it couldn't hurt. See, with lack of a different choice, at least it's something that he could potentially put in his deck.
Do you like Clutch of Currents, Retreat to Valakut, or Outnumber here?
I kind of like where he went with this. He's given himself some options later, I think, by choosing the body up front.
Sure. All right, so pick 4. Let's take a look at this one. Touch of the Void. Sure. 3 damage that exiles. Wish it was instant speed instead of sorcery speed, but, fits his colorless theme, so I think that's a pretty solid pick. Let's see, pick 5. Sure Strike, Shatter Skull Recruit, another salvage drone.
An incubator drone as well. He's
got a lot going on here. The Benthic Infiltrator.
Yeah, this is a pretty good pack here.
So he decides to go with the salvage drone.
Okay.
Helping out his curve here.
Yep.
Pick 6. That dried up fast.
Yeah, looks like he's got a combat trick. He's got a flyer. He's got a Mark Strider that fits his theme.
Yeah, let's see where he went. Devastator. It's colorless.
Well, he needs something for the top end so far. He's been choosing some lower end
Lower
picks.
middle, sure.
Lower middle.
I think the Devastator's an okay pick there. Let's take a look at what he picked for pick 7. Predator? Sure. I mean, arguably if he's going to go off of the Eldrazi Devoid plan, the McKindy Slide Runner, might have been okay as well. Depends on where his head's at with the curve.
Yeah. Not a lot of other choices here besides those 2.
All right, we'll try and get through the remaining picks. Go ahead and stop me if you feel like
sure.
We have anything to talk about. There's pick 8. Pick 9.
Yeah, I think that's what you got to do there.
Yep, pick 10.
Another salvage drone.
I think this is looking pretty good.
Yep, that's not bad for coming around that late.
So he picks up a skimmer for pick 11. It's kind of down to, the leftovers here. I think we're all avoiding the Prism Array like the plague. Sentinel. Yep, the
Yep.
drone makes sense. Decides to go with the null. I don't know. I think the first...
Yeah, it looks like he actually managed to stay on his theme pretty well. The first pick may have seemed a little bit forced, but he had in his mind what he wanted to do, and it really helped that he kind of got thrown some what would be scraps, but that actually were right on his theme.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to continue this theme and get out of the actual colored creatures if he wants to make it work, but we'll see how it turns out in pack 2. So, let's see where he's going in pack 2. Grip of Desolation.
Interesting.
So it looks like he's dabbled in the black cards in the previous pack. Maybe he's, looking for a splash. I just think it's going to be harder to make 2 black mana.
It's that or take the removal away from somebody else.
Well, I mean, in his deck, I like the Ruin Processor better. At 7 mana for another Eldrazi, it feels like something he might want to do. Or even if he's into black, the Sludge Crawler or another Salvage Drone. But, yeah, he went with a Grip of Desolation. So let's look at pick 2. I would think if you're on the Herald of Kozilek first pack, first pick plan, you probably want him again.
Probably.
And he does.
He does.
I think that, that really just solidifies needing to go colorless all the way here.
Absolutely.
And in pick 3, it's got a couple of good options. Actually, one very good option in the Coastal Discovery. I think the Guardian of Tazim is okay. He decides to go with the Guardian.
Okay. So he's got a couple of colored flyers here.
Yep,
Otherwise decent, but not really fitting in the theme of what he's trying to pick here.
absolutely. So pick 4, still, it's tough, right? I think that the difficulty with the pick of the Cloud Manta and pick 4 is you're still straddling the fence between colored spells and devoid spells, and you're so... With the Heralds of Kozilek, you really want to be colorless. So,
Well, and looking at what he's already got, why not take the Reclaimer here?
sure. So, pick 5. I like the Mist Intruder just based on what we're seeing here, but let's see where he went. Mist Intruder. Sure.
Solid pick.
Pick 6. Decides to go with the Clutch. Kind of not a lot going on unless he wants to dabble back into black.
Absolutely. I think he's made his choice at this point.
Picks up a Tightening Coils for pick 7.
Okay. So he's made a couple of tempo/removal picks.
I think that's probably pretty like most of it so far. So
Yeah.
he's going to need to probably pick up a little more of that.
Another Nettle Drone, looks like. Yep.
Yep, that's a good one for pick 8. Pick 9. Shatter Skull Recruit. Here again, I like the Salvage Drone instead. Not only for Devoid, but sticking to the colorless theme or the Ruin Processor.
The Rune Processor. That's what I was thinking. If you're gonna pick up a 4/4 for 5, why not just pick up a 7/8 for 7? That fits your theme.
Yeah, that's the difficulty in the pick. So let's take a look at pick 10. He decides to go with the Infiltrator. Yep. Pick 11. Leftovers. Picks the Skitter Skin. Pick 12. Yeah, Rush of Ice. There we go, another way to interact. Sure Strike on color. Goblin Warpaint. I don't know. I think he did well with the interactions, the pickups of those spells. The Sure Strike is just about a removal spell in the format.
I think his first pack was definitely a little bit more solid. He had some variance there and seemed like he was unsure of what direction he was really going there a couple times in pack 2. We'll see what
He does for pack 3.
We'll see what he does for pack 3.
Well, already looking at the rare of the pack, I'm think even though it's completely off color, decides to draft the money card.
Make it work.
I'm not sure about you, Drew, but I'm a human being too,
Yep.
and I probably would have drafted the money card.
Absolutely.
So let's see what he picked in pick 2.
Maybe another Herald? No.
Decides not to go with.
Okay.
I think at that point, it's very unlikely somebody else is going to be on the
That's
red-blue
true.
colorless plan. You could almost see if that one wheels. So the Breaker of Armies was an okay pick, I think, here. What about pick 3? Yeah, Touch of the Void, a little more removal.
Okay.
So now I'm feeling pretty good about where he's at with.
Yeah. He could have taken the Channeler there as well to help get him up to some of those larger spells, but it's definitely not a bad pick.
Sure. And pick 4 decides to go with another recruit. My feeling of what's going to kill him and what he's doing is he's too far split between trying to play a good red-blue deck or a red-blue devoid deck. Right.
Right.
So, pick 5 decides to go with Spell Shrivel.
Okay.
It's not too bad. Pick 6.
Another Nettle Drone.
If he can find the last few colorless cards, that guy could really do some work. So pick 7. Vestige.
Okay. There was one of those in the previous that he passed on, so glad to see that he got one here.
Let's see where he goes with pick 8. Decides to take the Valakut Predator. Pick 9. Goes with the Boiling Earth.
Maybe sideboard action.
It's not a lot going on there. I guess, his only other option was the Tidecaller. It could make some of his Awakened spells worthwhile, but let's get through the last few.
There's that Herald.
Yep. And I think that's the perfect pickup for pick 10. Pick 11. Looking for a little more interaction with the Clutch Occurrence. Pick 12. Decides to go with the Brilliant Spectrum. Oracle, sure. Sentinel. Crumble, yeah.
Okay.
So I think it finished out okay. Do you have any thoughts about Pack 3?
I think it was better than Pack 2 for sure. It seemed like he got a lot more.
With or without the Gideon?
Well, without the Gideon, it seemed like he definitely was a little bit more on track. He made a couple of interesting choices, but it looked like there were some reasons, behind some of what he chose. So I think he's definitely got enough of of his theme to get that into a solid deck.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at his deck. Here it is. The one thing that stands out in my mind is that there's a lot of multiples. So when you're looking for some consistency in getting the spells cast and what have you, and even though it really looked like he was taking a lot of colored spells, if you take a look, there's only, it looks like 5 colored creatures. So it's almost hard to argue that he didn't, pick that well.
And to your point, the consistency, if you look at it, it's, obviously it's on the bottom end because we're talking about the generally lower costed stuff here. But that's really going to help him keep his openings consistent, which will help him get to the late game that he wants to. If he's, if the early game looks very similar from game to game, he should be comfortable playing the deck.
All right. So this has been the draft review for Phil Drake. Please join us for our next one. Bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. We hope you've enjoyed this draft review. If you'd like to check out our gameplay videos, the link's over to my right. If not, stay tuned for our next draft review. And if you like where we're headed here at Magic Brewhouse Games, please take a second to subscribe and leave your comment below. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, we'll be stirring up some magic. Bye, everybody.